Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world, one book at a time.
So, let's just get right into it. The thing is, in today's world, the most convincing nonsense, well, it doesn't just sound like some loud, angry opinion anymore. Nope. It's gotten sneaky. It wraps itself up in the language of science, you know? It uses data, charts, all this technical jargon to seem legit. And because of that, it's so persuasive. That's why being able to spot it, well, it's not just a neat skill, it's pretty much essential for survival.
And that really gets to the heart of what Carl Bergstrom and Jevin D are asking in their book, Calling Bullshit. I mean, this question is not new. It's been around for over 100 years. But boy, is it more important now than ever. How in the world do you spot the rot when it's all dressed up and looks so official? All right, so first things first, we gotta know what we're actually looking for. And the authors, they have a really specific definition that's key to the whole thing. It's not just about someone being wrong. And here's the crucial difference. And it's honestly kind of fascinating. Think about it. A liar knows the truth. They're actively trying to hide it from you. But a bullshitter, they don't actually care what the truth is. At all. Their only goal is to persuade you, or maybe to sound smart, or just to win the argument. For them, the truth is completely beside the point. Okay, so what does this look like out in the real world? Well, the book lays out a bunch of different tactics, things like using vague weasel words, like when you hear reportedly or something can help. It sounds official, but doesn't actually make a real claim. But for now, let's zero in on 3 really common, really powerful tactics you'll probably see, today. First on our list is something called paltering. It's this tricky art of using statements that are technically true, but piecing them together to create a totally misleading picture. And numbers? Oh, they are the perfect tool for this. Because numbers feel so concrete, right? They feel objective, like a hard fact. But that's the trap. That feeling of authority is what makes them so easy to manipulate. So look at this number, 2,139. A few years back, a headline used this exact number, saying that 2,139 DACA recipients had been convicted or accused of crimes. And when you just see that number on its own, it's big, it's very specific, and yeah, it sounds pretty scary. But what happens when we add a little context? Well, the whole story just flips on its head. That number? It's only 0.3% of all DACA recipients. And just to put that in perspective, U.S. citizens are more than twice as likely to be incarcerated. See, the number itself wasn't fake, it was a true statement. A classic palter. But without the context, it tells a completely different and totally misleading story. All right, tactic number 2. This one's a classic. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book, really. Confusing correlation with causation. It's super simple. Just because 2 things happen around the same time doesn't mean one caused the other. And here's a perfect, kind of funny example. A study found that when college students drink beer from a pitcher, they drink way more than people drinking from a glass or a bottle. So the obvious solution, right? Ban the pitchers to stop binge drinking. But hold on a second. Does the pitcher make people drink more? Or is it the people who are already planning to drink a lot just order a pitcher because it's easier? The data shows a connection, a correlation, but jumping to the conclusion that one causes the other, that leads you down a completely wrong path. And this same mistake can be deliberately created with visuals. On the left here is a pretty infamous chart that was used to try and link the MMR vaccine to autism. By messing with the scales on the sides, the 2 lines look like they're moving in perfect sync. It looks like a clear connection. But now look at the chart on the right. It's the exact same data, but plotted correctly with a proper scale. And just like that, the relationship disappears. It's a lie, told with a graph. Which leads us right into our 3rd major tactic, misleading visualizations. This is where every single data point can be 100% accurate, but the picture it paints is a complete lie. Take a look at this chart. It shows the number of drivers in fatal crashes broken down by age. And at first glance, the story seems obvious, doesn't it? Younger drivers are the problem, and people get safer as they get older. But there's something missing. This chart shows the total number of crashes, not the rate. It completely ignores the fact that older people drive way, way less. So what happens when you adjust for that? When you look at crashes per mile driven, the whole thing flips. It becomes U-shape, showing that the very youngest and the very oldest drivers are actually the most at risk.
Okay, so we've seen the tactics. How do you actually defend against them? Well, the authors have a really great metaphor for this.
Think of it like watching a magic trick.
The magician wants you to watch the big, flashy gesture with one hand, right? The flourish. That's the big, scary number, the slick-looking graph, the confusing jargon. But the real secret to the trick isn't there. It's what the other hand is doing. So the key is to ignore the flourish and ask the simple questions. What's the context here? Are we sure this is causation? What information is being left out of this chart? You gotta watch the other hand.
So, what's the big takeaway? I mean, what's the point of learning all this? How does it actually change how we see the world?
And this is really important. The goal here isn't to become a cynic, someone who just distrusts everything and everyone. That's not helpful. This is about becoming a skeptic, and there's a huge difference. Skepticism is empowering. It's a tool that helps you separate the real signal from all the noise, so you can actually engage with information in a smarter way and make better decisions.
The chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov once said that the point of modern propaganda isn't to convince you, it's to exhaust you, to flood you with so much stuff that you just give up on trying to find the truth. And that really is the world we live in. It's designed to wear out our critical thinking. So the question the book really leaves you with is, how are you going to choose to see?
So this mini-explainer was based on the fantastic book Calling Bullshit, The Art of Skepticism in a Data-Driven World by Carl T. Bergstrom and Jevin D. West. If any of this grabbed you, I seriously recommend checking out the full book. You can grab a copy or borrow it from your local library.
For the full, long-form, deep dive into this book and its ideas, follow the link in the description. If you enjoy systems-level analysis like this, please subscribe and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.